Aaron Hogan, my friend. I don't even know where to start.
So good to be on your show.
Let's start with just a quick introduction. So, who are you, for those that don't know, and what's your company name?
So I'm Aaron Hogan, and I founded my company I Wander Photo officially in 2006. But I've been shooting portraits and weddings since 2002. So I tell people I have about 24 years experience in the portrait and wedding and photography world.
Do you remember when we met? It had to have been a memorable day.
It was, I almost fell at your feet, kissing your ankles and kissing your hand, I remember, because I thought you were so kingly.
Yeah, well, I'm pretty sure it was on the phone. Wasn't it that AAF meeting we had?
Well, it was before that. I'd seen you around because you were always doing event documentary through corporate stuff. But it was like, I don't know, manning cameras from the back of a room at big events.
I think when I met you, I didn't have enough experience to appreciate your art. But in the years that have followed, and I say this completely true, I think you are among the best photographers in the state of Louisiana, if not further abroad.
Well, it's certainly an honor coming from you. Thank you.
And my wife wants to know where our photographs are of the family.
They're ready to share. I'm not holding them hostage, I promise.
Okay, you hear that, darling? He's not holding them hostage. We'll go to his place and he'll give us a viewing and the whole bit. So tell me about the operation. So you've got a full studio. What do you offer the market? What's your place in photography and video and all that stuff here in Louisiana?
Given my start in weddings has launched me to do a large variety of other work that has nothing to do with weddings. But weddings gives you a lot of skills to be quick on your toes, you know?
Sure.
Quick with setting up lighting, directing people, and shooting places and things, and beautiful, and crafting beautiful light. So that led me into doing a lot of headshots. So by volume, I think I do more headshots now than I've ever thought about doing. So I do mostly business, corporate headshots, either in studio, which is most of what I do, or on location with whole teams. But I like doing acting headshots as well. And because there is even though the acting scene, in the movie filmmaking scene in Louisiana, it's kind of pretty low.
Yeah, it's certainly dried up.
It's dried up in the last, several years. There's still people that are keeping their chops up. My wife has an acting studio. They take classes from her or other studios around New Orleans, and they still want to stay in the game,
So to say that you're a photographer, even portraits, wherever your passion takes you.
I wanted to say one more thing about that, if you don't mind.
No, go ahead.
Other stuff. So we do a lot of product photography, which leads into marketing campaigns for companies, and also like video work. But my bread and butter is probably, it moved towards more corporate work now than wedding for photography. And more recently, lots of companies, clothing companies, a brand out of Texas that we do a lot of photography for. Both the product, the white background, and also the models wearing them. I get a few friends to be models for these shoots. We set up scenes. It's really fun.
Yeah. So websites, because people are going to want to see your stuff when we have this conversation to understand what I'm talking about. So website?
Yes, iwanderphoto.com.
Okay, iwanderphoto.com.
It's I wander. People misspell it every day.
So you do all of those things, but you are an artist with light. That's the best way to describe, I think, you, at least from my perspective. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, light was the first love of my life, I think, more than anything else. I remember the moment I fell in love with light.
That's what I want to know.
The moment.
Did you fall in love with light?
It was 2000. I was in Liechtenstein.
And where is that? Sounds German.
Near Austria.
Austria. Yeah.
It's just, I was staying in Italy, but I drove with this guy I lived with to the Alps. I wanted to see the Swiss Alps, and we went into Liechtenstein, which is like the smallest country in Europe.
Okay.
And I remember seeing this backlit tree full of yellow foliage around we were driving through a mountain range, and we just rounded a corner, and this tree was fully illuminated by the most gorgeous light. And I asked him to stop the car immediately I had a point and shoot film camera at the time. I got out and without even knowing what I was doing, just pointed the camera, the plastic lens, toy camera basically, at this beautiful tree, snapped a picture, got back in the car. 2 weeks later, of course it was film back then, saw the photo developed and it was not anything remarkable. It was so bland. And I thought, that doesn't capture what I felt. Like I really felt light for the first moment of my life. It was almost like being in a magical stained glass, a church with a stained glass window with light shining into me. That's what it felt like. But it didn't feel like that in the picture. So that's when I vowed to myself, I'm going to figure this out. I want to learn how to do photography to where I'm creating moments that take me back to that exact moment where I felt the light, and I relive it through the picture.
Yeah.
And so that's what took me into a dark room. I created my own dark room in 2001 when I got back from Italy in my grandmother's back little building she had in the back of her house. She had a little bathroom. I made a dark room in that little shed bathroom.
And were you taking like were you a wedding photographer?
The next year, 2002, I started shooting weddings.
So what were you doing when you what were you doing for work when you took that trip and saw light?
I was a student. It was the year before I had a gap year.
Okay.
So finished high school in 2000, went to Italy. 3 months later, still was on my gap year.
Do you know you were going to be a photographer, or was that the plan, or was it the light and then it became an obsession?
It was. I had no idea I wanted to be a photographer.
Yeah.
I was still feeling out the whole art thing. Well, what kind of art did I want to do?
That's amazing.
It was going to be something with art, painting, drawing. Didn't know it was going to be photography.
How long did it take from you realizing that capturing that art, that moment, is something you wanted to do, and actually your first picture when you actually did? How long was that? How long did that journey take?
Oh, it was so short. I had a girlfriend right away when I got back to America in early 2001, and almost within 3 or 4 months of dating this girl, she was interested in photography and became my little muse.
Okay,
so I photographed her everywhere.
Yeah.
And got my first studio lighting kit in 2001 and figured out, didn't know what I was doing. I was doing the JCPenney portrait thing at first, like lighting from both sides of the face, which is, of course, the biggest no-no in photography. And so I created ugly pictures of a beautiful girl, and I just learned by being disgusted with it. There was no YouTube. There was books from the library.
Yeah.
And that's what I did. God, I would learn like within 5 seconds if I had YouTube, if I was in today's world.
That picture of that tree now? Because when I go in your studio, you have these beautiful horses and stuff. We'll talk about your adventures later. But
what's funny? I have not found that picture. I've never gone back to look for it. I do have an album of photos I shot with that camera in the Swiss Alps, but I can't remember seeing that one. I think I probably threw away the negative because it was really nothing to write home about.
Awesome.
But the weeks later, I did take better pictures of the mountain ranges and stuff. And so I should go back and see if I think I threw it away.
You know how when the Olympics roll around, like you're never interested in tobogganing or anything, but then the Olympics roll around and suddenly you just love watching people perform, at their highest level.
Yes.
That's kind of why I'm a little obsessed with you, is because you do that. Like you...
Oh, it makes me want to play footsie with you under the table a little bit.
Do you like my socks, by the way?
Yeah, they're pretty cool.
Pretty cool. My wife, I won't take that story. No, so you see the world, and I want people to understand this, because then it makes sense. Like, this doesn't happen by accident. Like, you take the best pictures of of brides and grooms. Just, it's magic, man. Your pictures are actually magic.
Thank you.
I have to ask, what do you think of my lighting?
I would like some more negative on this side, just a little bit more neggy, Phil, just to make it more contrast. It's good. I mean, I like that you've got this our key.
I like this one here.
Yes. Yeah. It lights the far side.
Yeah.
I'd like to see the camera more into the eye line of the talent.
But you're not disgusted. It's okay.
It's a B-.
It's a B-?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I don't. You are the man. I'm okay taking my place when it comes to light.
It's a little orange. You're into the orange vibe.
I'm into the orange vibe. That green is a really weird contrast behind you. We just had an attorney there, and so my wife, she watched an episode of this the other day, and she's like, "Clear it up, dude." And I'm like, it's supposed to be messy, like this gear and stuff lying around. This is kind of like the studio. We're just kind of sitting down here. Speaking of which,
I'm not really a fan of this situation right here.
I wanted to ask, would you say you have a problem with Canon? And if so, what is it?
I okay.
Yeah.
I like them very much for their video, which is what you have. High-end cinema cameras. Looks beautiful.
That's what by your head right there.
The color science of the smaller form factor sensors, the cameras, the still cameras specifically, the 5D, and then getting into the R series, I have found that, I don't know what it is, the skin tone just looks too pink in many cases, especially, I use a lot of flash in my photography.
Yep.
And when I use flash photography of skin tone, specifically skin, it doesn't bother me with foliage or landscapes, but when the flash hits the skin, I find it to be a little bit too hard to bring back the real skin tone that I saw with my eye.
What do you shoot with?
I shoot with Nikon.
Okay.
So Nikon.
Depending where you are in the world.
Yeah.
And,
or Nikon if you're in
Have you always shot Nikon, or like have you?
Yeah. Well, I started with Fuji. The very first digital camera I had was Fuji.
Okay, I had the good.
Let me back up a minute.
Go ahead.
Ooh. Canonet rangefinder was my first film camera. Ooh. Canon made a rangefinder in the 70s and my dad gave me.
Okay.
It was a film camera, of course, so there was no issue with sensors and skin tone and all that. It barely focused. I couldn't see. It was such a foggy viewfinder when you.
So you started with a Canon something.
A Canon.
Yeah.
I did have an AE1, which is a Canon film camera that was during my first year of LSU. Quickly changed to a Nikon FM2, and so from that moment on, I was Nikon, and then digital came onto the scene in 2004 in a big way, and Fuji came out with a Nikon-mounted SLR digital camera.
When they did that?
I did, so I didn't have to change lenses.
How are you feeling about Nikon buying red?
Oh, that's a really good decision they did. Yeah. People have been making fun of Nikon for years, saying, when are they going to go out of business? That's
not an unreasonable thing.
People think that Sony and Canon are just going to, be the only options out there, and that Nikon should just go ahead and just quit. The move was strategic in moving towards cinema. Sony and Canon each have huge cinema lines. Sony longer than any of them, but Canon has massively accumulated like a whole line of cinema camera that you're using.
Yep.
And I found that Red is such a respectful name in the industry. Their decision to buy that is kind of like Hasselblad and DJI pairing up, which they did. So I think it's a smart move to attach a reputable name. If Nikon wanted to get into cinema, would they develop a new cinema camera? They don't have to if they can just buy and they did recently have a new cinema line of the Z cameras as a new cinema camera like a Sony, but I think it's pretty genius of them to have done that because now they can incorporate those LUTs into the Nikon that I'm already using.
So it's been about 4 years since I felt the gear urge. I have enough. I'm quite happy with what I need. I haven't just.
That's both of us.
Yeah, and so my next purchase will be a second prime lens kit because I love my primes, and I think we're going to buy one of those, the new Red cameras. I'm not sure which one we're going to buy, but that's something I want to explore as just an A cam for another option.
You never went with, never considered a slightly older Arri Alexa?
We have one.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Well,
yeah. I don't know.
I guess it's a little bit expensive.
It's like it's a tool, and so when we first got our hands on that Arri, I wanted to use it for everything, but so much of our work is run and gun that rig right there is just optimized for that. Arri doesn't have a decent audio input.
Oh, okay.
And so if you're one person out, it's just not appropriate. It's 3 times the weight of that thing. So so we still go out and use these on A cams, but it's a tool like everything else. So back to photography. What's your favorite type of photography and why?
In 2015, I started shooting a lot underwater portraits, like mostly dancers and also actors, people with a lot of grace and personality that felt that were so in tune with themselves that they could, even though they're feeling like they're drowning, could still bring out a performance underwater. And so I still to this day like that more than anything else.
Really?
It's the most challenging environment that I shoot in. I've figured out now how to light it well with continuous LED underwater lighting, which is a gigantic Godox's premium line. It's called, you might know the name. It's the expensive version of Godox. It's their top of the line.
I'm aperture all the way.
Okay. Well, anyway, there's a high-end version that is waterproof that you can submerge in a pool. It's a 4x4 panel.
Wow.
And you can roll it up, too. It's like a flexible mat. You know those light mats that you can just stick on a wall?
Very much, yeah.
It's like that, except it's got a frame. Well, I dunked the whole thing in the pool a few months ago trying this out. I was speechless when I saw the first photos coming out of it. Because Flash...
I don't think I've seen those. Can I see them?
Oh, I'd love to share them with you. It's a swimmer. She's a swimmer in high school right now. She's a senior. And so... I'm now promoting that as a thing for swimmers who are like really going after it, not just like people that are recreationally swimmers. Kids on like the top of their game and like high school swimmers right now. That's what I'm trying to go after, just to get
that is the
some experience.
Athlete portrait for you put them underwater.
Yes.
Do you want to do that with like football players and stuff? I mean, maybe they're probably not graceful, but they could look badass underwater.
I've only done one football player underwater.
Really?
It was actually pretty good. I have that one.
Which pool do you use?
Well, the one I did most recently was Crawfish Aquatics on Bluebonnet in Baton Rouge, but that's because they're already swimming there.
Yeah.
These kids who are more, they're not professional, but they're pretty darn good.
Yeah.
They're already comfortable with that pool, and they also have relationships with the people that manage it.
Okay, so you just show up and any pool's good.
That's new though. Previously, anybody's pool at least 7-8 feet deep would be good. Ideally, a little bit deeper. But not necessarily. It doesn't need to be 10 feet.
What do you call those? Is that in your mini session line, or like because you have like photo sessions where it's just you and a camera and the person for 90 minutes or 60 minutes?
So 30 minutes is typically a mini session, which we do a lot of families in the fall and the spring.
Yeah.
We're doing a series of swimmers underwater, but because of the extensive setup, it's every 60 minutes. Sorry.
Okay.
So that's considered a mini session underwater,
right,
whereas a normal mini session on the land would be 30 minutes.
Okay.
So underwater is a lot more setup. I'm on scuba gear. I'm scuba certified. I'm on scuba gear. It makes it more convenient than having and I'm using a buoyancy control BC vest to make sure that I'm not like a life jacket sort of. But
can I please come to the next one of these? I want to do some BTS on that.
I would love that.
It'd be great.
I would love that. The last person who did it used their iPhone, and because the iPhone is essentially waterproof, it does mess with the microphone after for a day or two. But they used their phone, and it actually worked pretty good. So you could essentially
let's do that.
Do that.
That'd be fantastic.
I would love that.
So speaking about mini sessions, my wife, she's always getting on to me because I just don't take pictures of my kids at all. I mean, when we got that Alexa, I pulled it out and just pointed at the kids, and it was magical and beautiful and all that stuff. But occasionally I like practice, but I don't do so. She says I want family pictures, and the only person that we're going to is you, obviously. So my question is, I think you've done that twice now with my family. And you took my headshots too, the one that shows up on my phone.
Yeah.
I mean, you made this fella look
not too hard to do though.
So, how pretty are my kids in your opinion, and how much do you enjoy photographing them?
The most beautiful. So there's 4.
They're watching. I'm just kidding.
Victoria.
They are brilliant. So I have twins, for those that don't know, and they're like, I don't know what my wife said, 92%. So they're fun. Yeah, they're just fun. But you enjoy. You look like you're having fun. But you probably look like you're having fun on every time.
No, these girls are especially lovely. And little sweet Sam, he's has such a big heart.
Yes,
and is a sensitive little guy.
I'm fixing that.
I love him very much. But I don't know. My wife, we love playing with the girls and their with their little toys. And my wife likes, whenever we come over, we like to have playtime in their little rooms.
So much fun.
So many little dolls.
So where has this craft and this passion you have taken you? Like, what's the coolest job you've ever done? Where are you headed in the future? What are you working on? Because you've grown, man, into all kinds of stuff.
I'd love to go into some of the trips. Let's go with weddings at first, because that's where I travel the most. We did a wedding in Croatia, in Dubrovnik, which is phenomenal. Before it became a huge touristy hotspot.
Okay.
Dubrovnik now, just to walk the wall, there's an old wall around the Old Town.
Sure.
Just to walk on the wall is like $80 a person per day, which is crazy because there's tens of thousands of people that come through there every day, I'm sure. So they're making a killing. It was like $40 when we were there, and this was in 2010, so this is quite a while ago when I shot at Dubrovnik. But another place my wife and I went to for a wedding was in the North Sea. There's a small island off the coast it's between Denmark and Germany, but it's a German island called Sylt, which means salt, S-Y-L-T.
Yeah.
Sylt. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, so forgive me. But small little community with houses that are required to have thatch roofs.
Okay.
It looks like gingerbread houses everywhere.
It makes sense to me.
It's horse-drawn carriages in the roads. You can have cars. Most people don't because it's so small you can use a golf cart.
It sounds like a postcard. Was everywhere you look just a postcard?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's not like, I wouldn't say it's as magical as like the Swiss Alps. There's not any real high points. It's this pretty flat little island. Yeah. But it's very windy. The kite surfing capital of Europe, I was told.
Wow.
So we were there with a Baton Rouge couple, an elderly couple that had been dating for like 25 years and never got married. And one day I'm sitting around with them at their home, and I said, "Are you guys ever planning on getting married?" And they said, "Funny enough, we are thinking about it this year." And this was in 2014.
Yeah.
And I just threw out there, "Well, I'd love to be your photographer." And we were friends at this point, so they laughed. They said, "Yeah, we'll have you come along."
Sure.
Well, sure enough, it was the most exquisite week of our life. That was actually, for a wedding, that was the most exquisite week. Let me jump now to this past summer. Jensen and I just went to Santorini for 30 days, 29 to be exact. If you rent a house on Airbnb for more than 28 days, chances are you can get about 40 to 50% discount off the rental.
Nice to know.
When you hit the 28-day mark. It's not required. The individual owner offers whatever discount they want. Many, though, want to entice you to do a month rental, so they'll give you like almost half off.
That's great.
So we rented a house in Santorini, Greece, for a month, and it was in a castle. And we had the best time. We got to be locals for a little bit.
Yeah.
It didn't feel like tourists at all. After 2 weeks, we were just hanging out at the same coffee shop and photographing people's families and going to church with them. At that point, it was phenomenal, and we just felt like we belonged there. And we had a regular restaurant place every night we'd go to. It was
became locals. So there's a moment that one of the things I love about what I do, and I shoot video exclusively, like this right here. I put too much weight on it, so this thing doesn't even work up here anymore. So it's just for like, okay, whatever.
It's a paperweight.
Yeah, it's a paperweight. But what was I going to say?
Shoot photography. You shoot
video.
video.
Yeah, no. One of the things that I like, we do video exclusively. Like, you're there, your camera in hand, you're looking through the lens, and there's, when you see it, like for me it's like real moments. I'm trying to find real moments when I shoot video, and when I see them, it makes me smile. Yeah. And I can see it in other people that do it too. Do you have the same experience?
I do.
I mean, if you're like at this person's, wedding, these two older couple, and like, they're in love, like, and they know it, kind of thing. There's a mature love to that. Like, you feel, I know you do. I know you do.
It's definitely the most rewarding part of what I do, when I get to capture a moment that is not forced. It could be a family, it could be engagement, it could be even someone's headshot if they're embarrassed about the way they look and they tell me, "I hate the way I look in pictures." Whatever it is, it's the delight that I get, not just in the craft and setting up and creating beautiful light, because light is my love language, as I said, but it's also sharing it with them. Sometimes in the moment, I'll be like, "Check this out." Yeah. And I see that light in their eyes, and they feel captured, and like I just showed them a secret that they didn't know about themselves they really like. That's really special. I very much appreciate being able to do that for couples or people or families or individuals on a near daily basis.
Yeah, that quality exists, and you share your work as albums, and you just picture after picture. It's in there, and all your work. You do a great job with that. How on earth do you do that with products? Because when you look at your product photography as well, it's just, I don't know, man. It's almost like it takes on a little character or something, Like, a soundboard, and you're like, you want to like touch. I don't know.
I'll be honest. Of all the photography I do, my least favorite is straight product. Yeah. Unless it's a person interacting with it, or like I mentioned, the clothing, a model with it. Sure. Because I'm directing the human and there's an experience there that they're sharing with me. When it's me and a product, I am a biggest procrastinator to get that shoot done. In the end, I knock it out the park, and I'm very thrilled with the results. But it's like pulling teeth with me when it's just me and a product. Now, if I have a company representative with me, someone who made the product or whatever, it's different. I'm interacting with them, and I'm talking about their creation. But if it's just like somebody mailing me a box of stuff to shoot, I'm struggling with that right now. I don't really love just that.
Do you want to talk about films? You want to talk about films? Because, I mean, this is the latest evolution. The last couple of years you've been...
Absolutely.
What's your interest in filmmaking, and where are you headed with that?
In 2022, after Jinsey, my wife, and I made probably 7 or 8 shorts at that point, and we had just made our first feature film, which I was part of the producing team. And funny enough, our biggest donor was the couple who got married in Germany.
Really?
The beautiful wedding that they had. They believed
That's
in
like
us.
Full circle.
They believed in us so much, they became patrons of our artistic endeavor. The filmmaking became a huge passion. All of a sudden, I was like, I need to get better at my craft. So I went to Maine Media workshops in college in Mid-Coast, Maine.
I remember you taking that trip.
It was life-changing. It's 6 weeks. I lived in a dorm, like a nice hotel, kind of on site. And Jinsey was here in Baton Rouge, and we drove up there together. And then she flew back home. I kept the car because I needed to drive around for 6 weeks. Man, it was like working with one of Steven Spielberg's gaffers. A lighting technician with Steven Spielberg was one of our instructors. So we're working with like the best of the best in filmmaking, who taught us how to break down a scene and how to convert it into light direction and how to create a mood board from just words on a screen, impress a director to be chosen to be the cinematographer for a project. Yeah. To pitch yourself as a cinematographer, you can't just like be good at lighting and stuff. You have to like prove that you have the vision that you have
to know it so deeply that you can translate it in a different medium almost.
Right.
Yeah.
So that was amazing. We did music videos, we did commercials, and we did a short film a week. For
6 weeks.
For 5 weeks of making short films. The first week was not a short film. So I made 5 short films in 5 weeks.
And you came away from that experience lit up.
Oh, wow. Like super lit. And so within less than a year, I got my first DP job on a feature. How do
you fit the time in to do that? Well,
it was in the beginning of the year, before wedding season kicked in.
Of course,
so it was like February, March. Where wedding season doesn't pick up till later March, April. So I was able to fit it in. But to be honest, at this point, I'd rather push that direction in my life and get someone else on my team to photograph the wedding if I had to like decide, of course.
Right.
I'd rather pursue the filmmaking aspect.
What is it about filmmaking that you enjoy?
Making 1 million tiny pictures, because every frame is a painting, which is my favorite ever YouTube. It doesn't even exist. It's
every
frame a painting.
Yeah.
Every frame of painting is, I mean, it doesn't even exist. It's there. You can find the old episodes, but they stopped making them years ago, probably 2018 or something. I don't know when the last one was, but it's so eye-opening whenever you're able to light with moving subjects. It's another level of complexity to lighting a scene, because you don't just want to cut 1 million times. The greatest thing is to be able to make a one-shot scene where your light setup works as the actors move through the space.
Yeah.
Instead of light and then cut and then light again and then cut and then light for you and then cut and then light for the background and then cut. That's a way that most films are made, but whenever you can get really artistic about it, you can try and do more longer shots called the oneers, and like 3-4 minute long.
Sure.
And ideally the light works with that whole scene as the camera's moving through the space and not even seeing your light. That's the challenge. I was really struggling with how do you hide these things? So you get a lot of these ceiling mounted rigs with little cones on them to direct light into specific spaces.
So you know me. I for a long time considered myself to be coming at this more of like a systems nerd guy, and I had a guy tell me he was super talented director type. And he said, "No, you're an artist. Everyone's an artist, everyone has art in them, but being able to express it is the gift." Mm-hmm. And I would ask that guy all the time. Like, we'd be sitting down just watching something. I'd be like, "Where's the light on that?" He said, "Maybe there isn't some." And then he'd find it behind the scenes and just the elaborate rigs. There's no end to what you can do on set, because at the end of the day, it's like going and watching a ballet or a dance routine, and the dancer is just exceptional, especially if it's like two people dancing, and you want that. It's magical, but you don't get to see the days and days and days and days and days of rehearsal to where every part of that is orchestrated. And the same's true with like movies and stuff. Is you wouldn't believe the length of time, and well, you would, but one would not believe the time that goes into rigging that stuff and planning that stuff and thinking it through. So it's the biggest part of my journey is being a bit more intentional. I mean, a lot more intentional ahead of the shoot. I came up as a run and gunner, and spending more time before the shoot than you do on the shoot has been my most recent learning curve. But
does your audience know about your dance background? Have you ever talked about it to anybody? It's pretty phenomenal.
No, they have not.
That should be a thing you talk about at some point.
I'll bring on someone that actually does dancing.
Jency has started taking adult ballet classes.
Really?
So my wife takes adult ballet at Dancers Workshop.
That's amazing.
Which puts on the Baton Rouge Ballet's Nutcracker and other like spring performances. I think it's Rapunzel.
Have you got into that class at all? Have you strapped on the Leica and done a plie?
I've only done a male modern dance class that was last year with a modern group that came in from Arkansas. Okay. They moved to Baton Rouge for a short time to do like a series of projects with men dancers that had no experience with dance.
Oh, cool.
And because I photograph dancers a lot and I'm very fascinated with it, I said, let me try this. It was a good exercise.
Right.
I mean, literally, I was worn out by the time the class was finished, laying on the ground. Like, it's strenuous. It really was. Because the way we did it was for exercise. It wasn't just learning technique only. In fact, because they knew we weren't professionals, it was very much mostly about exploring twists in the body and making your knees turn in circles and making your fourth toe go like turn in. I'm like, how do I control my fourth toe? It's the weirdest, most intellectual thing with this group. Yeah. So kudos to you for your dance background.
My party trick, even to this day, I won't tell you how. Well, shoot, I turned 47 yesterday. Can you believe that? 47.
Well, you look amazing.
Yeah, but my party trick still is to do splits. Only on the right leg, but I can still do it. Dude.
Oh my gosh, Jency's 47 as of last week, 2 weeks ago, and she's trying to get to where she can do a split.
I wish her luck. I used to do Van Damme, 2 chairs, go through splits. So I guess that must have broken me permanently because I can still do it.
Wow, and you can still get it up. I see. We have 3 kids.
I can still get it up with 3 kids. Yes, I can.
Yes, amazing.
Dude, I love you, man. Is there anything else you want to talk about?
I do want to talk about the present tense. So, Jency and I made a film, the feature film that we made in 2021 or something, 2020, 2021, was about our decision not to have children.
Okay.
It was a decision that I told her before we got married. We dated for 6 months. From the day we met till the day we got married was 6 months, very fast. But during that time, I said, I'm never having kids. In fact, I'm going to prove it to you, and I'm going to make it medically impossible for me to have children. So I got a vasectomy. I think it was 2 months before we got married. And she accepted it. Her family was very sad. In fact, her mother cried when I told her.
May I ask, you don't have to answer anything I asked, but what was driving that decision for you?
It was, let me get into it, because actually I didn't know.
Okay.
All I knew was when I was 12, my dad told me, son, he's going to hate me for saying this, but I'm going to say it anyway. You would be better off self-actualizing and I'm paraphrasing here. I don't know if he used the term self-actualizing, but essentially, you'd be better off self-actualizing, and given your impatient status and how you want things right now, and I was 12 now, he said, you should consider not having kids. You don't have to have kids. There's no pressure on you to do it. And it was just that freedom that he gave me, and he said, and you're extremely selfish. That stuck with me for the rest of my life. Not that I would go around saying I'm a selfish person, but that I believed that I had permission to just pursue whatever dreams I had, and it had nothing to do with kids, and kids would get in the way of me achieving any goals that I set for myself. So when I became a photographer at 19 or whatever years old, that's whenever I decided, I see a path for my future. It's going to be a photographer. I definitely knew after a year of dabbling that this was the thing I was going to do for the rest of my life. And kids would probably get in the way of me being the best photographer in the world. And that's all I cared about. I had a one-track mind. I meet my wife when I'm 28. We get married when I'm 28. And I end my possibility of having natural children at that point. Fast forward 10 years, we make the feature film. Fast forward a year and a half, we see our first draft. It took us a long time for editing of a feature because we had no budget. We had a very limited budget, like less than around $250,000, which might sound like a lot, but in filmmaking world, that's nothing. That's like next to zero. I watched our feature film in our living room, the first draft of the edit, and Jency and I were sitting on the couch, and at the end of the movie, she looks over at me, she says, "So what do you think about our film?" I was having such a deep moment with myself in doubting my decision to not be a father after watching my own movie, where I see the actor in the film who played me, it wasn't me, but it was a guy playing me, saying things that took me off guard. It was my own words, and they came off to me as being so selfish. And I saw a mirror in front of me for the first time and didn't like it. He was saying things like, well, we can't really have... He falls in love with Jency's character in the movie, right? And she's like, can't you just imagine a world where you do the things you want and you have children? And he said, there's no way. You will start to force your worldview to be central around your family. And you will start to reject other things because you want to protect your family. It should be that way. It's natural. But that person is more... is unable to affect the world as powerfully as the person that decides to be others-focused forever. When I saw it, I almost laughed because I was like, that's so dumb. I could do both. And I thought I made a mistake for the first time. But I did not tell Jency, of course. So I started interviewing with my own little one-on-one meetings, drilling, I'll say, friends who have children and have their own business. I wanted to find someone who was a workaholic like myself.
Hi, I used to be.
And so that's what it took. I had to talk to business owners that had children who would say they were still successful, able to balance both. The word balance is something I've struggled with my whole life. I swing extremes, all in or all out. I found it wishy-washy to be in the middle somewhere, which now I look at as a healthy balance. But at the time, I was like, no, that's a weak-mindedness. Go all in. That's what I did with photography.
And you got that from watching your movie.
So we decided at that point, after several months of me holding it in, I finally let her know. After I had many spiritual moments happen to me, the most powerful of which I'll share. I was driving to a film festival in Shreveport, the Louisiana Film Prize, which is an annual thing. I think I
told you when you're up there.
Yes. This was in 2022, I think. And I was driving to the film festival by myself. Jency was already at the event. I had a wedding the night before, so I had to leave the day later.
And what were you screening there?
2 short films, actually. Forgive me, we make a lot of them.
Is it relevant to the story?
It's not relevant to the story. It had nothing to do with... we were not screening our
up there,
feature. We were screening 2 shorts, not our feature that I had the experience with. So I'm driving, and I get a call from an old friend who's a pastor, and I hadn't talked to him in many months. And he said, I pick up the phone, and he says, Aaron, God told me to call you right now. And I laughed, and I was like, okay. I am a Christian, but I am also a super hardcore skeptic at the same time.
I'm an optimistic agnostic.
Yeah.
I call myself.
So I kind of roll my eyes and I'm like, okay, cool. And he's like, yeah, so I know your stance on having children, that you said that you never want to have children, but God pressed upon me right now to call you in this moment. And all of a sudden my face went very serious. And he said, God told me to tell you that you're supposed to have a child and you're going to be the best father. And no matter what you believe about yourself, it's not true. And I was speechless. I looked in the sky as I'm driving. I'm driving down I-49 heading towards Shreveport. And I looked to it's like the sun was setting to the right, and I looked to the left of me in the road, and there's two pink orbs floating in front of me. Like, they're not clouds, they're balls of light. And there was no magical thing. I don't know what happened in the sky, but I've never seen light in this formation before. Orbs of light in front of me. And they weren't moving. The clouds around them were slightly moving, but these round pink things were not moving. I snapped a picture on my phone. As I'm on the phone with him, I said, hang on, I'm seeing something insane right now. I snapped a picture, and I texted him all while I'm driving. Unsafe driver here. And he was like laughing. He said, that's God's way of confirming what I'm saying, because you're into light, right? And I was like, yeah, this is just weird. And so we continued to talk, and he told me his experience being a father for the first time, because he was skeptical about himself, but he had an emotional out-of-body experience when he had his first kid. Anyway, it was just the right thing to hear at the right time, because I get to Shreveport, and Jinsey was partying with friends when I got there. I held my tongue until the next morning. I wake up, and I can't wait anymore. I say, Jinsey, I got something to tell you. And she's like, grab my hands, and I said, and she's like earnestly looking at me in the eyes, and I said, I want to be a dad, and I want to have a kid with you. And bro, you would have thought that I told her I just won $1 billion, or something, or maybe more. I don't know, maybe more important to her. This is the most important thing that's ever happened to her in her life, I believe, because she wanted to be a mother but way before we met each other, and I held back from giving her that motherhood experience. And so long story short, we tried IVF 3 times, didn't work. That's very expensive. 3 adoptions have failed, and the third one was the most recent in less than a year. No, exactly a year ago in September last year, 2024, and that was hard because we had the kid for 3 months in our home, and we were taken to court, and the aunt of the baby won custody of him, and ultimately she has him in her care now. That's a pretty devastating story, because they weren't equipped to care for the child. Like, this child was a special needs because of the drug addiction that he was born exposed to drugs. It doesn't matter. I'm not going to go into more detail. We lost that. We felt like our lives were in shambles, and it took us going to Santorini this past summer to really heal from that, which is the reason we went for a month. And that was a very eye-opening experience, how we could give of ourselves to this human that could be taken away, and then we realized we still want to do it again. It wasn't like I've had enough, I've gotten hurt enough, we're done. We're still open to whatever our story is supposed to look like. And just 2 weeks ago, I'm not going to share too many details about this, but we have in our care a young child that is not a foster care, but a similar situation. So we don't know what the plan is there, but this is a temporary situation that may turn into something greater. But this child is blessing us in tremendous ways, and is also challenging, and it's great, and we're taking care of her. And yeah, it's changing our lives.
All born of a moment you had watching a movie that you made. And he didn't see that coming. No. It was the last thing I would ever imagine would have happened when we're raising money and we're going to pitch meetings and then the filming of it, of course, and then the editing and all this. And I'm just still thinking, this is a cute little story, romantic comedy. Yeah, I never knew that our own art could be used in such a powerful way to change me. So it doesn't matter if it changes anybody else's life. It was for us to have this experience. And honestly, I don't believe that I would have had the same experience had I not seen the film that was my own story portrayed in front of me. So when you do a project like that, like who wrote that? You have a script writer, or you have a group of them?
Jinsey wrote the treatment, which is like the short version of it, the synopsis, basically. And then we had we had a friend who's a writer in Shreveport who tightened up the dialogue and kept sending it back to us for us to revise it, essentially. But we had 2 writers technically in Shreveport. They were writing partners who wrote the filled in the blanks. But Jency wrote the outline, the skeleton of it.
My point, what I'm getting to is like, so you can read that thing, and you must have read that thing.
Over and over and over and over.
And it was only when you saw that thing that it kind of,
It's the visual that, it's like reading something on paper is so different than seeing it in new meaning. Or I guess it's really because the script was coming to life in front of me, almost like a mirror.
Yeah.
It really was the mirror. It wasn't just seeing the words that did it for me.
Good. I really appreciate you sharing that, because I mean, my wife loves your wife, and my kids are your favorite models.
They are.
And I admire and I consider you to be a friend, and it's crazy because you are so busy and you do get, you do go down rabbit holes, but it's kind of part of your charm, in my opinion, because I'm as quirky as hell too. But so I come like, I won't see you for 6 weeks or something, and then randomly we get to, it's just beautiful. Like I love you, dude. You're awesome, and I really appreciate you sharing. I was not going to go into that, but since you brought it up, so I was not as thoughtful about my life, and I did not have. Yeah, how do I put it? I mean, my dad did not sit me down and say things like that to me at formative years like that. I look back on my life and I think that I rode a wave for about 15 years. Like a wave just carried me through my 20s, man. I was just, and it was during the 20s that I was a workaholic, but I kind of emerged from that in my early 30s, and I just wasn't married and I just didn't have kids. And I'd had some friends that I was kind of like fake uncle to, and that taught me that you can definitely love a person. You can definitely love a person that isn't of your own blood, with all your heart and all your soul. You can definitely do that. Such that when I met my wife, and she had a young boy, 3, 4, no problem at all. Like, I was looking forward to it. Like, she's looking at me sideways. She actually said, "That's a waste of genes for you not to have children." And I was like, no, it's fine. Which is a compliment, right? So anyway, now here we are with we had Sam, and then we had the twins. And for what it's worth, we don't know what we need. It's sometimes you just have to be open to life and let it happen. And some of it's going to be shitty, and some of it's, as you can well know, but you and your wife are going to be amazing parents. You are.
Thank you so much.
And it's gonna affect every part of your life. It's gonna make you better if that's possible. You'll make time for other things outside of work, but it's gonna make you. You grow as a result of it, and it's and I know you already have, given the journey that you've been on, and stick with it, man. You're going to be amazing parents.
Well, we're honored to take care of this little girl. It's really been
I can't wait to meet her.
A huge blessing.
Look at that smile on your face. I know you feel it too, man. I love you, dude. Get out of here. I know you got a million things to do. Get out.
Oh.